The coffee comes to Istanbul at the end of 1500s. Then we have the first coffee shops in Istanbul. When you go to we call it Yerebatan Sarnıcı, the basilica in Istanbul, which is close to Eminönü, there is a stone called Million Stone. And the Million Stone is like the 0 point of the world. And it's coming from the 4th century. So Istanbul was the center of the world. And from the center of the world, coffee is spread throughout all of the world, to Europe, to US, to anywhere. And when you go to British Museum, there is an advertisement coming from 1652. It was an advertisement of the coffee house that was first opened in London by Pascal Rosé. And the name of the coffee house was Pascal Rosé's Head, or the Turk's Head. In summer it says, drink coffee like the Turks.
They say Istanbul Airport is the meeting point of the world. So, of course, what better place to show the world how much influence Turkey has had on global coffee culture?
And I love this little corner right here because it's a collection of different famous artists depicting coffee in their work. For example, this right here is a Van Gogh.
My coffee journey finally brings me to Istanbul, a vibrant city rich with majestic architecture, mouth-watering cuisine, people warmer than a freshly poured chai, and a history of coffee dating back over 500 years. And at the heart of this deep-rooted coffee romance, we find ourselves on Tahmis Street, where the story of Turkish coffee first began to waft its fragrant whispers.
If you gave this to my grandmother, you know what she would put in here? Egg.
Yumurtalı, evet. Doğru. Ama bu çok kıymetli.
This is the incredible Spice Bazaar. It's been around since the 1600s in the neighborhood of Eminönü here in Istanbul. But this right here behind me is the reason we're here. Kuru Kahveci Mehmet Efendi, on the corner of the first coffee roasting street in the world. So this is where all the coffee roasters of Istanbul used to be located, and they were all owned by the government. So the government, the empire, was roasting all the coffee. But now, since 1871, Mehmet Efendi decided to open his own shop once it became legal.
Şimdi İstanbul'a kahve geldikten sonra, daha doğrusu Osmanlı'da kahve ilk çiğ çekirdek olarak satılıyor. Ve aileler, yani evlere ulaşması önce saraydan başlıyor. İster sarayda, ister evlerde o çiğ çekirdeğin önce kavrulması gerekiyor.
During the history of 153 years, we have some foreign exchange shortages in Turkey. So the company didn't have a production for some 5-year intervals. And when I was age of 5, there was no coffee. And when I went to the shop there, we were selling some honey and some tea. That was all. There was no coffee.
And can you explain a little bit, why was there no coffee in Turkey? You know, such a coffee-consuming country. What happened that you didn't have coffee?
When we had the foreign exchange shortages, the government said you cannot import some of the items to Turkey. And one of the abandoned items was green coffee beans. We had some in 60s and 70s for 5 years, and also in the end of 70s to 1982. Up to 5 to 6 years, there was no coffee.
Ready to go in?
Hakan gives me a full tour of the roasting facility, and aside from the overwhelming smell of coffee, I got to see the meticulous practices from grading the green beans to their unique roasting profiles.
We cannot supply the same coffee from the same plantation every year right now. So the search is more complicated compared to 10 to 20 years ago. Coffee needs some special weather requirements, the coffee tree. In order to blossom after some high humid times, it needs some high rain periods so that they blossom. And some people say after 2035, the coffee plantations, also the cocoa plantations, will be lost by 50%. Hopefully not. Where we find the coffee we like compared at these 10 years, we are right now looking for different plantations with different parts of the mountains, different areas, because it's always moving. Because this is a seasonal product, we have to make the decision for the 12 months only in 3 to 4 months. so that we can keep those coffee for the year long. During the cupping process and also the blending process, the mine is working like an equalizer. For the Turkish coffee, we are trying to reach almost the same taste in every cup.
We put our fine-tuned equalizers to work, cupping a few coffee profiles right here in the lab, and I had a chance to taste their filter coffee with the classic Turkish brew side by side, each a unique expression of the same beans. Coffee holds such a vital place in the Ottoman world, so much so that in 2013, it was designated by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And I'm really starting to see why, not only for its flavor, but the way it brings people together.
The existing building is established in 1932.
Okay.
Yeah.
When's the best time to come if you want to buy coffee?
Any time of the day is the best time.
Anytime.
Yeah, because I mean, we come in the shop like 6:30 in the morning, and we start grinding at 7. So after 7, you can just smell the fresh ground coffee all over the street. And it's easy that when you go from the main street, you can just follow the smell of the coffee, and you can just find it.
Oh, it smells incredible of coffee.
Yeah,
Very good.
Mehmet Efendi has 3 sons, and the 3 brothers have the initials on the door handle that they have the names. The one is the Ahmet, the second H is the Hassan, and the third one is H is the Hulusi.
The level of detail here really blew me away. The street itself, Tamis, is actually an old Ottoman word that literally refers to the roasting and grinding of coffee. And for over 150 years now, coffee packagers hustle along this main counter to serve the eager coffee lovers waiting outside. It's tradition, and you have to be fast. They put me to the test in the lineup, and I didn't last 2 minutes. Here's me with my 1 bag.
Osmanlı'da artık çiğ çekirdekten hazır, yani öğütülmüş, kavrulmuş kahvenin evlere servis edilmesini sağlayan, neredeyse tek bilinen, resmi olarak kayıtlarda adını bildiğimiz öğütülmüş kahve olarak evlere ulaşmasını sağlayan kuru kahveci Mehmet Efendi diye. Tüm dünyaya Türk kahvesini gönderen bir aile, ama buna rağmen hani aynı Türk kahvesinin kültürü ve geleneğine bağlı olarak bugün 3. ve 4. kuşak olarak devam ediyorlar, ama aile şirketi özelliği korunuyor. Bu önemli. Kahvenin soyut kültürel miras listesine alınmasında gerçekten büyük hizmetleri olmuş olan bir aile.
It was around 1870, 1871, when the government, the Ottoman Empire, who was roasting all the coffee, teşekkürler. So they opened it up to any private business to start roasting, grinding, and selling coffee. So Mehmet Efendi was the first of his kind to take advantage of this new rule and open Kuru Kahveci Mehmet Efendi right over here. So now people could buy their own roasted and ground coffee, which sounds obvious now, but it was revolutionary back in 1871. So good.
As you can see, Turkish coffee is more than a drink, more than a taste. It's more than just a style of brewing among many others. It is an activity, a culture, an art with a long history and big influence on how we enjoy coffee around the world today. Join us in part 2 as we explore the deeper connections between coffee and art.